is the Good Day DC After Show.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, Mike with the
Thomas.
cameo.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Photo bombing.
He can't actually talk, but he's here. Do it again, Mike.
Yeah.
Weather bomb. There you go.
What does your mask say? There's some
Steelers.
writing.
It's
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pittsburgh
Oh,
Steelers.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this like team coverage for the weather here on the after show?
No, we're not talking about weather. We're talking about our weekend plans.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
No, it's not like that. There's nothing going
WandaVision
on.
coming to America, and what else?
Oprah interview with
Oprah
Meghan Markle,
interview.
Prince
No,
Harry.
you guys, we have serious information that I must share.
Okay,
Oh,
share
It
it.
might upend all of our weekend plans because apparently the CDC has put out new guidelines, tips on sharing and surviving, I should say, a zombie apocalypse.
What?
I'm not making this up.
The CDC?
This is starting to trend right now. The CDC.
We did the story like 3 days ago, though.
Okay, well, it's back. They're
Oh,
telling me
okay.
that we need to do it again,
Okay.
Tucker. So I'm just taking direction, right? So maybe someone spotted a zombie.
You sold
I
it
don't
to me,
know.
Holly, but
I don't know.
I think we reported this like 3 days ago.
Well, it's my first time hearing about it.
Okay, thank you, Marissa. Wisdom, have you heard about it?
No, I didn't know zombies were
great.
real.
Well, clearly Tucker was watching another news program
Yes.
because we didn't have it. Okay, here we go. So Nostradamus, you know, he actually predicted in 2021 that there would be a Russian scientist create a biological weapon that will produce a virus and turn humankind into zombies.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the human race will end as we know it. I mean, this is like a real thing that he predicted. I mean, it's pretty ominous. You ready? This is what he said. Few young people, half dead to give a start, dead through spite. He will cause the others to shine, and in an exalted place, some great evils to occur.
I like
Sad-
how he always spoke in like sort of like, you know,
Right?
abstract.
Do we really understand what he's saying?
Yeah.
I don't know how they got Russian scientists out of this, but they did. Sad concepts will come to harm each one. Temporal, dignified, the mass to succeed. Fathers and mothers dead of infinite sorrows.
What?
Women in mourning. The pestilent she. Monster. The great one to be no more. All the world to end. Now,
This weekend?
well, in 2021. It might be starting this weekend. But here's the thing. The CDC has actually put out guidelines for an emergency preparedness kit in case zombies, you know, flesh-eating zombies start to come and attack you. Do you have the right things in place? Do you have water? See, Steve's
water.
researching it right now.
No, he's not researching it. He is one.
Well, then, you know,
Cue
oh,
up the Thriller music.
yeah. Then, Tucker, you need your kit now.
Okay,
But
so
they're
Holly,
really, look it up, Marissa. There's a real CDC guidelines, and this is starting to trend. I mean, somebody clearly had it 3 days ago, according to Tucker, but it's trending now.
Here's the thing, Holly. What did Nostradamus say about coming to America too? That's what I want to know.
Well,
And-
this is what's scary. He said it would be funny, but not as funny as the first, and
Okay,
some might
all
be
right.
disappointed. So he was right on.
Okay, all right. And what did he say about the final, the finale of WandaVision? See, those are the questions I want to know from Nostradamus.
Well, he had all that. It's a different chapter of the book.
Oh, it's a different chapter.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I could be Notre Dame. Hang on. I see a team in a uniform will win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. And it will be within the confines of the United States.
yes.
Yeah. And the game will be played in January.
And the quarterback's initials will be TB.
Right, exactly.
Right about that. He was right about that.
Right? So anyway, I don't know. I don't make that stuff up. They just tell me that we needed to talk about it because it is on fire on the web.
What is it? So there's a zombie kit?
Yeah, right here. It's a preparedness
What
kit.
is it? What's in a zombie preparedness
Well, funny you should ask. The first thing you need is a gallon of water per person per day. Food, stock up on non-perishable items that you eat regularly, get your medications, all your prescriptions. Tools and supplies. They suggest something like utility knife, duct tape, battery-powered radio. Household bleach, soap, towels, clothing
clearly
and
they're,
bedding.
Sounds like a serial killer kit.
Right?
Clearly, there's some effort to be humorous here, but I think after the COVID pandemic, I'm not feeling funny about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, right,
And,
exactly.
you know, go
Yeah.
ahead, bring it on at this point. Like, I could care.
Copies of your driver's license, passport, birth certificate, first aid
Well, why
supplies.
would I need that? Just keep it all because I guess
Just all
zombies
important
don't
papers.
die.
You know,
They'll be
all your
here.
important papers you need in one place.
Okay.
I think, like Tucker's right, I think obviously this is the CDC being a little bit funny. I mean, Nostradamus did predict this, but I think the CDC is using it as a chance for us to all maybe be prepared for a natural disaster.
Yeah. And we need a little levity too, so I do appreciate that. It's been a tough year.
Well, if we're not prepared now, we ever be prepared? I mean, I got enough toilet paper, and by the way, that's good for zombie apocalypse too. And I got enough other supplies to last me
Zombie
like
might
6 more
scare the
months.
heck out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just keep the shades closed and I just peek out the side like that creepy guy. I'm fully in on this.
You're like the zombies have nothing on me.
Oh yeah,
I
nothing.
got your creepy.
Are there any weapons on that list?
Let me see. Let me
Well, you know you
check my
can't kill
CDC
zombies.
list.
Right.
You can cut their head off.
Is that how you kill a
Still
zombie?
just slide and-
Now,
No,
how
once
do
you
you
cut-
kill a zombie?
Once you cut the head off, it's done.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Saw it
So
on The
that
Walking
maybe
Dead.
that's why they had the knife there.
Yeah.
The utility
Well,
knife. It was listed.
But you're gonna need something bigger than a utility knife. You're probably gonna need like a machete or a chainsaw.
Or an axe.
Or an axe. Two of those I actually have in my house.
It did.
Actually, and you know another way you can kill a
Sorry,
zombie.
did he just say you had a machete and an axe? I mean, two of the three. It really doesn't matter which two.
It doesn't matter which two. Also, another way you can kill a zombie, according to, what I've seen on television,
Yes.
is to blow his head off.
Well, what about garlic? What do you use?
No, that's
garlic?
a
That's
vampire.
vampires.
Vampires,
That-
yeah.
and that's
I knew
just to keep
garlic
them away.
Yeah.
I think with a vampire, you have to drive a stake through their heart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Or or you put them out in the sunlight and they'll just burn up.
oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't have to worry about a vampire because if you don't invite them inside your house, they can't come in.
Can I
And
just
they
say
stay
real
out of
quick?
They have to have an invite.
If
I
this
didn't
really
know
goes
that.
down, I'm hanging out with Wisdom. He knows all kinds of
Right?
things.
And I
I have no
weapons.
clue, man. He's got
I have
like
weapons.
100 ways to kill a zombie here.
Yeah.
What did
Yeah.
he say? I'm going axe and chainsaw. I think that's the two you have.
Well,
I think so too.
Axe
well,
and
you can blow their brains out too.
how
You
do
can
we
blow
get
their
to
head
Yeah,
off.
Okay, got it.
I don't even know
say you
how
have
does a
that
zombie
too.
get, like, they bite you? What do they do?
Yeah, they're supposed to bite. They're supposed to bite you, and you turn into a zombie. But
Well,
you,
then, yeah, they're like the undead,
Yeah.
right? And then you become undead?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
that kind of thing?
yeah, then you
Well,
slowly turn.
Considering most of my teeth are either fake or in bad shape, I'd be a terrible zombie. I'd
Well,
like biting, I wouldn't even break
the zombies
flesh.
don't have, caps on their teeth either.
They don't. They don't
I've
have
really
teeth.
never seen a good-looking zombie, if I'm being honest. I mean,
Right.
generally, it's not a good look.
I can't believe we're
Right.
spending all this time talking about zombies.
It's fascinating. I just need to get my kit together
Well,
this weekend.
you know
To
what?
go
Just
shopping.
come up to Clarksburg. I got it. I got plenty of stuff. I got
And Chef Daddy's
chainsaws.
got all the food, too,
That's right,
so,
he
you
does.
know.
Yeah, I got chainsaws. I got weapons.
Well, Tucker, will Chef
Multiple-
Daddy be able to
multiple
grill? Oh,
What
did
is
you
that?
bring
Do a
those?
Can you
zombie
hit a
forecast?
zombie over the head with a pan? That's the
You
question.
can't hit a zombie with a pan. That's not going to do anything.
You hit it hard enough, you'll knock their head off.
No, you won't. We've never seen that before.
We've
What
never
in
seen
the-
going
zombies
on?
before.
What is going on?
What
there?
is going on over
in the
there?
kitchen?
Okay.
Right.
Anyway, weather, Tucker.
Yeah, let's do some business. Hey, listen, guys, it's going to be chilly this weekend. Yeah, I don't know what the temperature is for zombies to sort of optimal biting.
Well, they're
weather.
dead, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
45 this afternoon. Listen, it's breezy out there, so even with the sunshine, it's gonna be a cool afternoon. Cold tonight if you're trying to do the outdoor dining, and then a chilly weekend, but dry weekend, guys. Both Saturday and Sunday featuring dry conditions, kind of in and out of the clouds Saturday and Sunday, and then all next week we're gonna be talking about springtime warm up, 60s by Tuesday, upper 60s by Wednesday, and I think right now we'll get to 70 by next Thursday, and that would be our first one since all the way back in last November.
Okay. So one of our viewers said that a pan will not kill a zombie, that we need to get it together. So, look, I did just Google how to kill a zombie.
Okay.
And you're right, Wisdom, they do recommend decapitation as the
Told you.
number one way.
Told you.
Yeah, it just lop off the cranium with a chainsaw, machete, or samurai sword. Says so right here.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got a sword at home. I'll be fine.
Well, it says mind the follow through, though, because anything less than 100% severance just isn't good enough.
Follow through with the task. That's
Oh,
all.
Right.
Bludgeoning, burning, exploding.
Yeah, they explode.
Apparently
If you
those
shoot them in the head, their head will explode. But you got to make sure it's blown clean off.
Oh gosh, I have to buy weapons too now.
What happens if you chop off a head and then you realize, oops, that wasn't a zombie?
Just someone ugly.
Yeah. Then you're doing time.
Yeah,
Like,
then that's a different story, and we'll be talking about it on the news.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yeah.
See, this could just go bad places. I'm
Oh
going
my
to just
gosh.
lay low. All right, have a
Watch
good weekend,
Coming
guys.
to
All of you.
America. Just watch Coming to America.
Yes.
Yeah.
Friday.
Safer.
WandaVision.
And Oprah.
And Oprah.
You get an Oprah. You get an Oprah. You get an Oprah.
This is the Good Day DC After Show.
Good afternoon, I'm Richard Newbury. Reports are coming in that yesterday's rioting in central London have now spread to large areas of the capital and parts of the southeast. These reports started late last night, and we are at the moment receiving unconfirmed reports that London has been sealed off by the military, who were mobilised 2 days ago. We now have this report from central London, which was recorded in the early hours of the morning.
It's quite unbelievable what's happening today. Mass hysteria has hit London. Riots have been happening all day. Nobody seems to know what the cause of the violence is, but it seems to have hit the entire capital. Emergency services are at full stretch, and riot police have engaged in dangerous street battles with violent mobs. Today the military was said to have been dispatched, but we have learnt that's not going to happen. They've sealed off most of London as far as the M25 motorway. But we don't know why that's happened. People are scared. People are terrified.
We have since lost contact with our reporter, so we're unable to bring you a live feed. The Prime Minister has dismissed claims that violence reported on the continent is in some way linked to civil disorder in Britain, although it would seem we are in no way isolated in our reports of widespread rioting, which has been reported throughout Europe and Asia, where many governments have declared a national state of emergency and appealed for help from the international community. We have a report we believe to be from an Italian news station recorded sometime over the last 2 days, which was subsequently leaked onto the internet, which I think we're now going to show. However, I must warn you, this footage contains disturbing images.
Siamo in onda? Buonasera, siamo in diretta dalla città di Napoli, dove tutto sembra essere peggiorato. L'esercito ha imposto il coprifuoco e tutti sembrano essere agli arresti domiciliari. Questa epidemia sconosciuta sembra essersi diffusa molto più rapidamente del previsto, nonostante i tentativi del governo di bloccare l'accesso del paese e di tentare l'uscita di questa epidemia dalla città. La città di Napoli sembra essere un campo di guerra. Molte persone la notte scorsa hanno tentato di lasciare la città. Ma non tutti ci sono riusciti. Alcune persone si sono dirette verso sud, provocando così numerose code sulle autostrade.
The Italian Prime Minister has strongly denied the validity of the footage and called it a shameful attempt to undermine the government. Now, we'll shortly be going live to our correspondent in India, where there have been reports in the past 24 hours of a deadly disease spreading rapidly across much of the country. As yet, the cause and nature of the disease are unknown. We now go to our India correspondent live in New Delhi, where the situation is rapidly worsening. So, what is happening there on the streets, Jason?
Well, yes, Richard, currently the disease is still unknown. We have had reports of rapid infection followed by toxic shock soon after the victims' hearts have stopped. However, these reports are largely unconfirmed. It also seems that mass hysteria and panic has turned into violence, causing mass riots involving literally tens of thousands of people. We've also been told that victims of the disease have become very violent and also responsible for hundreds, if not thousands, of deaths. It is also said that they attack any humans that they come in contact with, even friends and family.
Do they know how the disease is spread yet?
No, unfortunately, we still have no solid evidence of how the disease has spread. Although anything at this point would be pure speculation, doctors, however, have been trying to examine victims in the quarantine, but this is proving to be difficult because they are not able to be sedated properly and they are very violent, despite reports that victims have been dying within hours of contracting the virus.
Do you have any idea of the current number of victims in India? Have the Indian government released any of that information yet?
Well, yes, as you know, India has one of the biggest populations in the world, and this disease, we've actually been told this disease has spread across the Mumbai slums already, and there's been reported outbreaks in at least 5 other major cities. There's also current estimates by the government that indicates that there are 900,000 casualties in the last 24 hours.
So what warnings and help are the Indian government giving the people?
Well, the Indian government is urging people to stay calm and stay indoors. They've been told people not to go near any victims, only to go out in extreme emergency, and otherwise people to stay in their homes at all times. All foreign nationals have been told to return to their countries as soon as possible, and all inbound flights have been diverted away from Indian airspace.
Well, I'm afraid we're going to leave it there. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Richard.
We're joined in our studio now by Alec Charles, spokesman for the Ministry of Defence. Mr. Charles, thank you for joining us. Now, do you think the military's handling of the current crisis has been sufficient?
Yes, our response to the crisis has been swift. We've been working hard to bring the situation under control, and we're doing everything possible to contain the problem. I can confirm that a buffer zone has been set up around London to ensure the violence doesn't spread any further.
Yes, but Mr. Charles, the government has been heavily criticised for not redeploying military units stationed overseas here in the UK. Now, these troops account for a large percentage of our military strength. In light of the worsening situation, will this option now be reconsidered?
Our forces overseas will remain exactly where they are. Our commitments haven't changed, and we've assured the international community that Britain will not be bringing her troops back home. This is a global problem, and our forces overseas are needed more than ever before. We're confident that here in Britain, we can restore law and order with our existing level of troops.
But surely, Mr. Charles, this can't be the case. Many people see the creation of this buffer zone as separating London and parts of the south of England a clear indication that the military have in fact lost control and that millions of people are being abandoned.
That is absolutely not the case. We've installed martial law across the whole of the south of England. There's a 24-hour curfew in place. People have to stay at home for their own safety's sake until this problem has passed.
Now, we've had unconfirmed reports that all military units and emergency service personnel currently operating south of this buffer zone have in fact been ordered to withdraw. Now, how can you possibly expect to maintain a curfew if any kind of law enforcement has been withdrawn from this area?
Gangs of rioters in their thousands are swarming through the streets of London at the moment. They're destroying buildings, they're attacking people indiscriminately. At the moment, we're in a strong position to stop the violence in its tracks. We've got the buffer zone in place, and that acts as a vacuum between the rioters and the rest of the country, enabling us to control and contain the violence, which is our highest priority.
It's widely thought that these riots actually began in London. Now, if this was the case, surely swift intervention by the military, working in conjunction with the emergency services, would have been enough to contain the situation and keep it limited to London. However, we now know that London has been cordoned off by the military and no attempt whatsoever is being made to intervene. And in fact, to restore law and order in the capital other than that already being made by London-based emergency services.
Before this widespread violence reached Britain, dozens of other countries affected with similar outbreaks of lawlessness and rioting, including the United States, decided to impose a national health hazard, and they attempted to quarantine the affected areas. Having information about this in advance of any rioting breaking out in this country, we decided, because of that, to proceed with caution when approaching the problem.
I'm sorry, Mr. Charles. I'm unsure exactly what it is you're saying. Are you trying to say to me that we're dealing with a breakdown of law and order, or is this in fact a pandemic?
We're not sure at the moment.
Okay, well, I think we'll have to end it there. Thank you for your time. I'm told we're now going live to our military correspondent.
I'm just outside the town of Sandy in Bedfordshire. Sandy has a population of about 12,000 people. About 4 hours ago, the army moved into the town, including the troop I'm currently attached to, in order to aid the police in this evacuation.
Well, what's happening there now? Has the evacuation been successful?
Well, as you can see, the town's directly behind me. The military have left the town and withdrawn to one of the outlying hills, so it appears as though the evacuation has been abandoned.
Well, do you know why? Are those gunshots we can hear in the background?
Yes, we've been hearing sporadic gunfire for the past 20 minutes, so it seems as though the pandemic has reached us here and the military are engaging those affected.
Victoria, do you think the military will be able to contain the situation?
Well, as I said earlier, the population here is 12,000. The military detachment assigned to the town was 50 or 60 soldiers, most of which we lost contact with at this stage, so it doesn't look good. We're now deep inside the buffer zone, which is a huge blow to the army's efforts to stop the spread of the virus.
What's happening now?
I think some of the soldiers have just withdrawn from the town. Let's see if we can go and have a closer look. I think they're down here. We just need to get closer.
Victoria, can you hear me?
On me! On me! Get up the stairs! Move! Oh my God! Oh, stop! Oh my God!
Well, it appears we've lost contact with our military correspondent. We'll try and pick that one up again later just to see how the evacuation is getting on. We apologise for any technical difficulties. In the past hour, the Home Secretary has held an emergency press briefing at a secret location in order to clarify the government's stance on the continuing violence.
As you have been watching on today's emergency news broadcasts, there has been widespread public disorder and rioting across large parts of the south of England. The situation appears to be a repetition of the civil disorder which has been widely reported across America, Asia, and many European countries in the last few days. The cause of this widespread violence is as yet unknown, but it's become apparent that some form of virus may be responsible. Reports from hospitals in the affected areas are so far reporting large increases in people being admitted with severe injuries attributed to the widespread violence and rioting, suggesting that whatever the cause of this breakdown in law and order, the risk to health from the virus is minimal. At this exact moment, a team of government scientists are on their way to the affected areas to carry out further investigations into the causes and origin of the outbreaks. In order to contain the escalating situation and maintain law and order, we have declared a national state of emergency, implemented martial law in a number of areas, and introduced a curfew effective from 7 p.m. tonight. We urge members of the public to comply with these measures for their own safety and to assist the emergency services with the aid of the military to control the situation. We would like to reassure the public that this is a short-term measure which will be revoked as soon as the situation stabilizes. Details of all areas will be shown following this statement. If you are in one of the worst affected areas and concerned for your own safety, we have set up emergency evacuation centres under the control of the armed forces. Details of these centres will also be shown after this statement. I'm sorry.
We have been issued by the government a map detailing all affected areas and a comprehensive list of all evacuation centres for those areas where the military are attempting to evacuate people. These will be displayed shortly, and viewers should look out for their area if they reside in the southeast. We'll shortly be going live to a press conference by the Centre for Medical Disease Control. But first, we have this video, which has been submitted to us through our website earlier. Unfortunately, due to the amount of traffic we've been receiving, our website is temporarily down. However, we are working to get our online services working again as quickly as we can.
Has he gone outside?
Yeah.
I can see him. Get back inside. What is he doing? They're coming, get back inside! Oh, f***ing hell. Is he back in? In? Yeah. Oh, they know we're in here now. Come open the window. Come open the window.
We now go to an emergency press conference by the Centre for Medical Disease Control.
It was announced earlier today that government scientists have been dispatched to affected areas to conduct further tests. Once again, we urge members of the public in affected areas to avoid hospitals and not to seek medical attention, other than that provided at the nearest evacuation center set up by the military. At this point, we believe a virus is responsible for the violence. We've had several confirmed reports of victims being declared clinically dead by doctors attending the scene and then returning to life within minutes of this diagnosis with seemingly murderous rage. Adding to this, it appears as though some victims reported to have died from natural causes. The number of cases of this so-called reanimation is now thought to be in the thousands, and we believe it is now spread beyond the military's buffer zones. Anyone infected with this virus will attack those uninfected on sight. I can only urge members of the public to stay in their homes and avoid contact with anyone you suspect carrying this virus. At this point, we do believe the only method of contraction is through direct contact with an infected individual. Many of those patients admitted to the hospitals or who have reported to evacuation centers have been carrying terrible injuries, the most common being bite marks and deep lacerations. So at this point, we believe the virus is spread through either the blood or saliva of the affected.
We seem to have lost it there. I'm sure you would have found that announcement as shocking and unbelievable as I did, although events we have witnessed within the last few hours seem undeniable. We've had reports that people all over the southeast are forming vigilante groups in an attempt to defend their homes against these violent mobs, although the military have condemned people taking part in such activities and stated that anyone caught outside in areas where martial law has been declared, or any person found to be engaging in public disorder, will be met with deadly force. One of our reporters recorded this interview in the last few hours.
Do you think what you're doing is right? What do you mean? Taking the law into your own hands. We're just keeping people safe. By killing other people. Look, if we don't kill them, they'll kill us. It's that simple. These rioters won't stop for nothing. Don't you think you should leave it to the police to deal with this situation? Yeah, but they don't. There's been so many times where we've been there and the police ain't. You don't think you're adding to the violence? No. We're just protecting our community. We don't go out looking to start trouble. If anything, we prevent it. There's been reports of groups such as yours forming all over the country. What do you think of this? Well, it just shows that the authorities can't be relied on. It's good to know that people are taking a stand. The government are calling you vigilantes. Well, they can call us what they want. We're not going to stop until this is over.
We have just received another video clip submitted through our website, which is now active again. We believe it was taken from inside a rescue station somewhere outside London in the southeast and contains graphic images and scenes of a violent nature.
Leave now! This is a restricted area! Get out! Leave now! Move! Out! 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 Turn that camera off! Get back!
It would appear from this report that the military have lost control and have largely been overrun in many areas of the southeast. We've also been receiving reports that a large percentage of evacuation centres and rescue stations in the southeast and in the military buffer zone have now been compromised. We have at this stage lost contact with most of our reporters and are relying heavily on information submitted to us through our website and online services. We have this footage submitted to us in the last few minutes by one of our viewers. This also contains scenes of a violent nature.
Get back inside!
Please help my daughter.
Don't come any closer!
My daughter needs help.
Hey!
Some truly shocking scenes there from an anonymous sender. It appears as though the military high command charged with restoring law and order have lost control of some elements of the armed forces who are meting out their own justice on innocent members of the public. We've been unable to contact the Ministry of Defence to question them over the accountability of the military or for an answer to this shocking video. We're now joined by Professor Peter Kentworth, a former government advisor on emergency internal affairs. Peter, in light of events in the past 24 hours, do you think the government has handled the ongoing crisis well?
Well, I think the key to the question, Richard, is 24 hours. This epidemic has gripped the whole of the south of England in just over 24 hours. I mean, this situation is unprecedented. We now know that we are facing a global pandemic which has affected hundreds of countries all around the world in just over 2 or 3 days. No country has anything in place like this to halt something that has spread this fast.
Yes, but we've experienced epidemics and pandemics before. So what's so different about this? I mean, how has it spread so fast?
Well, I'm afraid I can't actually answer that. We have had very little information about the virus, apart from a few key symptoms, which are quite frankly horrifying to say the least. We're not even sure if it is a virus. Look, if you look back at past pandemics such as swine flu, it took months for it to spread around the globe. And vaccines and treatments were available. I mean, this has simply spread too fast for anything like this to be put in place.
When you talk of horrifying symptoms there, what are you referring to exactly?
Well, it's obvious that the mass rioters and lawless mobs that are being widely reported in our major towns and cities are people affected with the virus. However, we have had reports that the virus kills people within hours, depending on the method of contraction.
Are you suggesting then that the virus has differing effects on different people?
Well, I think the only conclusion that we can draw is that every single one of these rioters has contracted the virus and died from it as a result. These people are coming back from the dead and are attacking the living.
Surely that's impossible. I mean, you're saying that some form of virus, which estimates say has killed over 1 million people in the UK alone, is making the dead return to life.
Well, we have seen undeniable evidence in the last 24 hours. People who have witnessed these savage attacks are in no doubt as to what is happening. Also, several countries have reported this as fact, including the United States. I mean, there simply is no other conclusion.
Do you think the military will be able to contain the situation?
Well, I think after the events we've witnessed today, at the speed that the virus is spreading, despite the military's best efforts, I'm afraid it will spread to the rest of the country within 48 hours.
Peter, what would you say to worried members of the public watching this at home? I mean, what should they do?
Well, what we need is for everyone to stay inside, no matter how serious the situation may get. This curfew should be implemented nationwide to slow down the speed of the virus. However, widespread panic has set in and people are trying to escape the chaos, which is only going to speed up the spread of the virus. Look, I'd say this to everyone out there. Please, do not...
Oh, God! No!
Richard?
Good evening. If you're just joining us, we have breaking news to report right now out of the Kingstown area in Alexandria. We understand that Van Dorn Street is blocked right now by overturned cars, and reports are still coming in from police, but apparently I'm being told it is a zombie attack. Yes, zombie attack in Alexandria. Specifically, we're talking around the Van Dorn Street area. We're told that officers are on their way right now to take you to safety. So again, please take all precautions, stay inside, and keep it right here for the very latest on this zombie attack. We want to take you back to breaking news in Kingstown in Alexandria. Right now, police are on the scene of a confirmed zombie attack. We're told that this zombie attack is in the area of the Edison High School, Hayfield High School, the Kingstown Town Center area near the movie theater as well. We're told specifically those in the South Center area of Kingstown to be on high alert. Again, this just in, police on the scene of a confirmed zombie attack. I believe we have some pictures right now from the scene we want to bring you. A zombie attack in the Kingstown area. Keep it right here for the very latest as with this breaking situation unfolds. Police are urging you to stay inside, take all precautions. They are on the way to help you right now to take you to safety. Keep it right here to this news station for the very latest. We want to take you back to that breaking news right now in Kingstown, Alexandria. We understand emergency crews are at the scene now of a plane crash. A plane down in Alexandria in the Kingstown area. We understand that, yeah, it's in the South Center area of Kingstown. Federal officials also on the way to the scene right now. We understand police are urging residents in that area to take all precautions necessary. We have a live reporter out there on the scene bringing us a live report like right now. Let's go to that live report.
Jesus.
What?
I don't believe this.
What? Is there something with the camera? Just fix it.
She's still moving.
Oh, for Christ's sake. I thought they were dead.
They're supposed to be. They are. I don't know. She's moving on the freaking gurney, man. Get out of the way. Come on, get out of the way.
There's a backup here.
And apparently we're having some difficulties there. This information, folks, is again just coming to us live. You're seeing it as we see it unfold. Take all precautions. A zombie attack. A zombie attack apparently in the Kingstown area. So residents are being urged not to venture outside. Police are saying, thank you. Police are saying, actually, I'm being told the South Center area, those specifically located in the South Center area of Kingstown in Alexandria, being urged not to panic. Police are on the way to be there shortly to take you to safety. So take all precautions necessary. Police are on the way. Keep it right here for the very latest on this zombie attack apparently in Kingstown.
This emergency broadcast has been ordered by the U.S. Department of Civil Defense. An attack on the United States is underway from an unknown nation or source. Citizens are being strongly encouraged to stay indoors and turn off all sources of light. All government agencies and the military are on highest alert. It is recommended you take shelter in the lower or uppermost portions of your homes and away from any windows. Continue to shelter in place until an all-clear message is given.
Breaking news. Just moments ago, President Obama declared a state of emergency in South Carolina. The Army and the National Guard are being mobilized in what can only be described as a horrifying series of events.
Huge gangs of flesh-eating cannibals are attacking people indiscriminately across South Carolina. Police, fire, and rescue are overwhelmed, and they urge everyone to stay indoors, conserve supplies, and please, stay off the phones unless you are in a life-threatening emergency, as phone lines are jammed. Highways have been shut down, too, to try to stem the spread of these attackers. They are considered extremely dangerous, and we want to emphasize, do not approach them. This is just shocking. People are terrified, and we're just starting to make sense of just what exactly is going on. But there are tens of thousands of these people roaming the streets, terrorizing people, and literally eating people alive.
There are reports that these cannibals are the dead rising from their graves. They may appear badly wounded, scarred, covered in blood, yet they continue to lurch forward and attack. If anyone comes into physical contact with these people, they must be quarantined, as their victims soon turn hostile and begin attacking others in what can only be described as some kind of a mad plague.
We're just learning that some of the most affected areas are the cities of Charleston, Mount Pleasant, Somerville, and all of the greater Dorchester County area are heavily infested by the attackers. We want to emphasize not to approach these people, as they are extremely dangerous. And we're even hearing that they're not stopping when they're being shot or otherwise attacked. I know it's hard to believe, but everyone must exercise extreme caution. And we're even hearing that some of these attackers just yesterday were ordinary people, members of the community, family members, who all of a sudden have been overcome by this intense drive to eat human flesh. Okay. The Pentagon is reportedly saying that this is the result of a biological weapon that was being designed right here in Charleston by a defense contractor known as the Umbrella Corporation. Apparently, they were messing around with a strain of the Ebola virus that somehow got out of their underground laboratory and takes over the brains and motor functions of its victims, which explains why these guys are so hard to stop. The virus spreads through blood contact, which also explains why anyone who's affected must be quarantined immediately. The only way to stop these people is by destroying the brain or severing the neck.
We don't know if there's an antidote or a vaccine and can only hope that one will be coming.
Please stay with us as we continue to follow this developing story.
This emergency broadcast has been ordered by the U.S. Department of Civil Defense. An attack on the United States is underway from an unknown nation or source. Citizens are being strongly encouraged to stay indoors and turn off all sources of light. All government agencies and the military are on highest alert. It is recommended you take shelter in the lower or uppermost portions of your homes and away from any windows. Continue to shelter in place until an all-clear message is given.